Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 3rd of February 2022. In today's Millwall news, we've got a number of stories. Basically, the fallout from the end of the transfer window and what that did to Millwall, and some comments about how that went. So we're going to start off with this from Ryan Loftus, which is from the London Football Scene.co.uk. Millwall's January transfer window, Luke Freeman's late arrival offers solace during a frustrating month. Coming into the January transfer window, Millwall were at a crossroads whether to stick or twist in their hunt for a Championship playoff place, and despite their best efforts, including the last gasp loan signing of Luke Freeman for Sheffield United, the Lions may not have done enough to bolster their top six aspirations. The deadline day move for Freeman arguably salvaged what was shaping up to be a disappointing window, as the club struggled throughout to sign, in the words of manager Gary Rowett, young players for the long term. Freeman fits the bill for a creative playmaker that has been desperately lacking for a number of seasons now, but with only 141 minutes of league football this year, he will need to get up to speed before making his mark on the side. Meanwhile, injuries to key attackers Tom Bradshaw and Shea Ojo also shifted Millwall's priorities from the long term to the short term. Oliver Burke, the 24-year-old, also on loan from Sheffield United, is another player to fill a gap, but also the possibility to become a long-term asset if he can live up to the potential he showed when breaking through at Nottingham Forest. Burke's signing felt somewhat like a marriage of convenience, a player in need of game time joining a club with an injury crisis, but the move could prove to be a perfect fit partnership all round. Since his £13 million move to RB Leipzig in 2016, Burke has bounced around and struggled for regular game time, only amassing 3 goals and 7 assists in over 4,000 minutes at 5 clubs. Much like Freeman, Burke will need to gain fitness and find his feet, but enters the den in the hope of a fresh start, with the Lions faithful hoping he can buy into the underdog spirit personified by the culture at the club. Millwall fans will also undoubtedly be relieved the club managed to retain the services of Jed Wallace despite offers from Nottingham Forest. The Lions' Taliban is out of contract in the summer and his future is still unclear, but losing him to a divisional rival may have signalled the end of Millwall's ambitions this season. Instead, the saga rumbles on, and should Wallace join another Championship side in the summer, some might ask if the club should have taken the money instead. Arguably, this window is more notable for the outgoings, as 3 contracts cancelled gave the impression as Millwall are freeing out the wage bill in preparation for what could be a busy summer. Despite the current lack of attacking depth due to injuries, the club were happy to release Jon Daddy Bodvarsson and Matt Smith, as both players dropped down the leagues in search of game time. Bodvarsson never clicked in Millwall, scoring only 5 times in 69 appearances after arriving for £750,000 from Reading in 2019. He'll be remembered as one of the worst signings in recent memory, not just for the lack of goals, but also for the fee the club paid. Matt Smith will be remembered more fondly, having scored some memorable goals in his first season, but this year he found minutes harder to come by. At 32-year-old, the target man's best years are behind him, and he began to look less impactful as time went on. Rowett has explained his desire to change Mill's recruitment approach, targeting young, mobile, up-and-coming strikers, rather than the ageing target men that have all become too familiar at the Den. Here's the thing. Rowett wants to sign players who have been proven at this level, Championship level, a certain standard, and what that seems to be doing is, how can you sign a young up-and-coming striker that also has Championship experience? It's like the old meme, job wants 5 years of experience, but then you need the experience to get the job. Like, there's some jobs they advertise. I think there was like a job advertisement for like a computer program called like Cobra or something, and they said must have 10 years experience of Cobra, but the Cobra was only out for 5 years. So these people, they want people who have years of experience, but then they don't pay you, they don't offer the salaries that go with that. So you need to pick your poison. Do you want experienced players at this level, or do you want players who are young, mobile, and up and coming? Now, ideally, you'll have a striking balance, and the situation, well, the best situation would be you'll be able to track young, up and coming players, not just strikers, play them in the team, get them to prove themselves at Championship, have Premiership teams come in, make bids for them, and then you can profit, ka-ching, and then the cycle continues, much like what clubs like Brentford have done. But what do we do? It's not easy to do that, is it? The final departure tugged at the heartstrings of the Lions fan base as Ben Thompson was released and allowed to team up with Lions legend Neil Harris at Gillingham. Thompson was Millwall's hottest prospect under Harris, fondly remembered for his impact returning from loan at Portsmouth in 2019 and scoring 4 in 13 games to keep the Lions in the Championship. However, since Harris's departure, Thompson has struggled to impress Rowett, and set back by injury and a lack of chances to impress, it became clear he didn't have a future at the club. Ultimately, this January transfer feels like a bit of a stopgap for the Lions, the new arrivals doing a job temporarily with the intention clearly to build for the future. Finances proved to be the major issue in getting deals done this time, but if the club can muster up some cash in the next few months, then it looks like Millwall could have a busy summer ahead. Yeah, indeed. Just with the Freeman signing, I think there might be a possibility of us signing him on a permanent. I think that might be. Now he's 29 years old, so he's getting on a bit, but he could still be good enough to do something for us. We'll have to wait and see. See if he comes in and plays a blinder. I mean, if he comes in against Fulham and we have a decent result and he's part of that result, I mean, he's going to be an instant legend. So we'll see. But what do we do? What do we do now? Did we not signing anyone permanently this window? Because we're doing what Jed Wallace is doing. Jed Wallace is out of contract. He's talking to other clubs. He can be talking with Forest and Besiktas and all that. Because when you have 6 months on your contract, you can start talking to other clubs, because basically you're going to be out of a job. So the authority said, well, you're allowed to talk to them to line up another job. Are we talking to players now? Are we getting pre-contract agreements lined up for players who will be out of contract in the summer? Now, the players who we've been linked with in this window, they seem to be having their contracts up this summer. Zion Fleming's got another year. Ramselaar's got another year. Uchake Pizu, is he on loan at Cardiff? I'm not sure if it's a loan. I think it's a loan at Cardiff. So maybe in the summer we'll go in for him. I don't know. So maybe that's why we didn't sign anyone permanently in this transfer window, because we're talking to players who are out of contract in the summer who wouldn't sign in the summer. So there's also that to consider, especially now we've brought in a special Gary Outs guy, the Harvey Bustle guy, specialist transfer recruitment guy. So maybe we're looking to sign players in the summer, and we're talking to them. We're going to be signing them on a free. So who knows how that's going to work out? But there you go. So let's have it. Speaking of Freeman and signings, we have this from millfc.co.uk. Now, he went to the den today. Now, I don't know if he had to do that. Did he really need to do that? I don't know. Maybe he had to sign some papers in physically, but he was at the ground today. Oh, not today. At the Preston game. So this is. They interviewed him after the Preston game. Got some words out of him. He watched the Preston game. I'm sure he was absolutely impressed with our shit performance. Because maybe he says, well, these fuckers are pony. I can come in here and do a job, and the fans will love me. So let's read this. Deadline day signing Luke Freeman discussed a hectic 24 hours when speaking to Millwall following his loan move to the Lions. The 29-year-old become a part of Gary Rowett's side for the remainder of the 21-22 campaign on Tuesday, joining Oliver Burke as the second addition from Sheffield United in the January transfer window. All parties were made to wait for official confirmation of the transfer, which finally arrived prior to Millwall's Sky Bet Championship meeting with Preston North End. It's been pretty hectic, Freeman told Millwall. We got the deal over the line just before the deadline. I'm delighted to be here. I've learned a lot about the lads and the gaffer, so I'm looking forward to be part of it all. Previously, at the likes of Bristol City and Queen's Park Rangers, Deloney, who can play in central, attacking midfield or on either flank, expressed a desire to work with Gary Rowett, as well as explaining what he can offer the club between now and the end of the campaign. The manager has been looking at me for a while now, but the feeling is mutual. We've crossed paths a lot. I'm looking forward to working with him. I want to help the team and get some more minutes myself. I hope I can help the lads with some creativity and bring some goals and assists. I can't wait to get out there. Freeman will join his new teammates for training for the first time on Thursday. Not only that, but also I believe I've been looking at online. I believe Luke Freeman and Ben Thompson were at Arsenal at the same time. They would have been youngsters at the same time now. They were obviously on loan, out on loan at various times, but I'm sure they would know each other, so they probably didn't play that much together, but I'm sure they know each other. So maybe there's that's a possibility as well, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we should sign that Jack Wilshere," because him and Ben Thompson know each other, and Jack Wilshere's got something to offer, even though he's quite old as well. Well, Freeman is a version of Jack Wilshere, but one that's still signed for a club. So he's going to be training from Thursday. So today was his first day training, and then he's going to have a number of days training until we play Fulham away on Tuesday the 8th, which would be interesting. Not only that, so you got Freeman on loan. Now, even if it's not a loan in terms of a view to him signing permanently, you got him and you got Oliver Burke. The Fulham game is going to be on Sky. These players have got a chance to do something in front of a lot of people who will be watching this, and get themselves out there and get a decent move to a decent club that play attacking football. There you go. Moving on now to the departure. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. I know the fans will want me to say it was a tough decision. Millwall boss on Ben Thompson's departure. Well, I think the end of that is, but it wasn't. But we'll see. Gary Rowett has opened up on Ben Thompson's departure from the club, with the Millwall boss admitting that he didn't think it was fair for the club to prevent the midfielder from going elsewhere to play first team football. Thompson came through the ranks in SC16 and clocked up 175 appearances for the Lions, notching 12 goals, but the 26-year-old has found himself out of favour at Den recently and had only tasted 46 minutes of league action this term. Thompson signed a deal until the end of the season with Gillingham just hours after his contract with the Lions was cancelled by mutual consent on deadline day. He follows former Millwall boss Neil Harrison making the move to Kent. And Rowett gave his verdict on Thompson's departure after the Tuesday night stalemate with Preston. I know the fans will want me to say that it was a tough decision because of what he means to the football club, and I get that, said the Lions boss. I've probably had 2 or 3 good sit-downs with Tom, who's expressed the desire all the way along. He's said first and foremost he wants to play for Millwall. Of course he does. He's a Millwall fan. He's had such a good time at the club, but he wants to play football. He wanted to do that, and I don't think it was fair for us to stand in his way. I had the same conversation in the summer with him, and they weren't able to find the right club at that point. This time there was an opportunity with Neil going to Gillingham, and we wish him all the best. You want to see him on a football pitch, not out of the squad. That's what happens. We've tried to move in a slightly different way, and we wish him all the best. He's a fabulous player. So there was talk of Portsmouth coming in for him, and then Mill saying, well, they're not offering enough money, and that was just on loan. So, but now the club have cancelled his contract. Now, did they pay him off? Did they pay off the difference? Why didn't they just let him go to Portsmouth in the summer. Why they couldn't get the deal done, but now they just realised there was no deal to be had and just let him go. It's all very weird, but I don't know. There you go. Sad. Good luck for Tomo playing for Gillingham. Good luck to Neil Harris at Gillingham as well. So moving on now to this one. More comments from Gary Rowett about Danny McNamara. So this is from newsden.co.uk, and this is Premier League potential. Millwall manager and defender, and what will define his career? Gary Rowett believes Danny McNamara could have the potential to be a Premier League player. McNamara, 23, was Millwall's man of the match in their 0-0 draw against Preston North End at the Den on Tuesday night. Former Ireland under-21 international McNamara has made 37 appearances in just over a year since his return from a loan spell at St Johnstone. McNamara briefly lost his place in the side this season when Ryan Leonard was preferred at right wing-back, but Leonard's injury gave McNamara an opportunity which he has taken. Rowett was asked about McNamara's development after his impressive performance against the Lily Whites. I think he's a really good player, Rowett said. He's 23 years old, he came back into the side and showed that real spark and desire to want to play for the club. He's learning the role, it's a role that suits him, but he can also play in 4 at right back. There are certain things we're working on with Danny to see if he can add those extra bits of quality in the final third. I think that defines whether he will be a really good championship wing-back or full-back, or potentially a Premier League full-back or wing-back. He's worked hard. He already wants to do extra. He's a good character, and of course you see it tonight. There are 50-50s out there. You know, he'll go full-blooded and do what it takes for the team and the club. Yeah, one of the highlights was in that Preston game was Danny McNamara's through ball over the top to Benicophobe. Right. A peach of a pass to him, straight in front of him in his stride. Benicophobe's gone to it, just need it too far, and the keeper got it. But I mean, game after game, the performances of McNamara and Mitchell will stand out. Just for effort and not hiding, and wanting the ball, getting on the ball, trying to make things happen, while other players just seem to disappear and not do anything. So long may it continue. McNamara, Premier League player. With who? With us or with someone else? Don't know. What do you think? Not the way we're playing at the minute. But anyway, so there you go. These are the comments of Gary Rowett post Preston. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.